John Schwartz. I live in the Dalles. I'm a physician, and I've worked in both the Dalles and Hood River for over 30 years. Mr. Walden, if you were to come to me for advice on treating a health problem you have, I'm going to use the best available science to guide my recommendations. The science of man's impact on the global warming is clear. 97% of scientists agree we are the major contributor to this warming. 3% remain unconvinced. What's not clear is the public's perception of this information. Many people remain skeptical. For example, President Trump calls global warming a hoax invented by the Chinese. Trump has recently rolled back regulations directed at limiting CO2 emissions from automobiles and coal-fired power plants. Continuing these earth-polluting policies is not bringing more jobs to Hood River and the Dalles, but it is killing our planet. Furthermore, a recent survey from Yale University shows that 71% of your own district favors restrictions on CO2 emissions. Your apparent support of Trump on this issue suggests you are aligned with your party rather than your constituents. My question is, if you prefer I use best evidence to direct your medical care, why won't you use best evidence to direct your energy policy stance and denounce Trump's suicide course toward continued global warming? Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Nelson. I reside in the Dalles. I'm a retired school teacher. Representative Greg Walden, I think you have aligned yourself with the actions and policies of the Trump administration. My concern is that those policies and the president's own actions to date do not benefit the constituents of Congressional District 2, which you represent. I'm skipping a lot because I'm going to do 2 minutes with this. For example, the president's diminished support of the Environmental Protection Agency and the science community will most likely delay the cleanup effort at the Hanford Superfund site, the most dangerous and poisonous place on Earth, in my opinion. Hanford issues need to be brought to the public's attention and not forgotten. There should be a pressing urgency to clean up this site before radioactive waste contaminates the Columbia River and enters into our food chain. The consequences of this occurring would affect life for hundreds of thousands of years. Cleanup is a regional issue, and Oregon has a stake in its outcome. Oregon's role is to assure that the cleanup decisions are protective of the Columbia River and the people and the animals that rely on this river. Hanford's a disaster waiting to happen. Imagine an out-of-control range fire coming into contact with the hydrogen gas emissions that leak from this brew of radioactive chemicals stored underground. If an explosion occurred, it would essentially be like a dirty bomb. We would really not be able to control it. And the plume of radiation would cover our entire region with devastating and long-lasting consequences. Mr. Walden, you are aligned with an administration which is dedicated to taking resources away from government agencies such as the EPA that work for us to spend it on a border wall? My question is, in what way can you defend your support of this administration and its policies? And when those policies do not support the health and vitality of our region, what is your position about investing in the Hanford cleanup? Thank you.
I'm from the Dalles. My name is Robert April, retired math teacher. I'm Mr. Walden. I'm disappointed that you're not here this afternoon. I'm disappointed that when you are going to be around next week, we get 1 hour of your time only. I'm disappointed with the representation that we've been getting from you. You were elected to represent all the citizens of the 2nd Congressional District. You were not elected to represent Comcast. You were not elected to represent Big Pharma and the insurance industry. You were not elected to represent Donald Trump. You were not elected to represent Paul Ryan. You were not elected to represent the Republican Party. You were elected to represent us, your constituents. We're disappointed. Your voicemail message says in part that you feel it is an honor to serve us. I say you must live up to those words. Serve us with honor. Serve your constituents. In the interest of time, I'm going to mention just a few of the ways why I feel you've not been serving us. You voted to permit the browsing history to be sold. You failed to protect our rights to require the financial planners to work for their best interests, the best interests of their clients. You voted to ram through Congress a bill that masqueraded as a health care bill, but was in reality a bill for a massive tax cut for the wealthy. You voted to support a bill which was going to negatively impact the tens of thousands of your constituents. Mr. Walden, there's many more ways where you've not represented us. You seem to have lost your moral compass, your ethical compass. Please take some time to reflect and represent us.
My name is Mike Byrne. I'm from Parkdale, and I didn't believe I'd be this nervous. I was actually hoping they'd call my number, and when they did, Well, there are a number of significant issues that your constituents have with your record in Washington, D.C. We're not sure who is giving you directions, but we are pretty certain the people you were elected to represent did not send you back to Congress to gut the EPA, or for that matter, roll back protection for women in the workplace, eliminate benefits for poor women, infants, and children, Meals on Wheels, etc., and instead go right to work, right alongside the president, to bring back the coal industry, throw poor people off the Oregon Health Plan, and further isolate the United States in the eyes of the civilized world by supporting the outright buffoonery, moral turpitude, and ineptness of the president. Speaking of ineptness, your committee's handling of the ACA repeal and replace was an embarrassment to all of us in Oregon's District 2, including your sponsors. But I digress. My question to you is really about internet privacy. How could you have sold out so cheaply? I mean, I'm certain your big donors would have doubled your campaign contributions for such a huge financial windfall. Thank you in advance for your thoughtful response to this and to all of our concerns expressed today. I would like to get a personal response, or at least the acknowledgement of a shudder deep down in your Hood River soul. Do you, in fact, Mr. Walden, still have one after 20 years in Washington?
I need my sunglasses. Mr. Walden, my name is Judy Merrill. I live in the Dells and have been providing health care as a registered nurse for 41 years. In the Dells Chronicle on April 5th, you were quoted, "The town hall meeting is another great way for you to update your to-do list to take back to the nation's capital." You also were quoted to say, while Congress and the country face major issues like growing the economy and fixing the healthcare system, You are working on finding solutions for local problems in our communities. You stated finding common sense healthcare solutions remains as one of your top priorities. I'm glad to hear you say that, yet I'm quite puzzled. Your actions don't support this. I want to share what weighs very heavy on my heart every day, not only as a registered nurse, yet as a woman who cares very deeply for our elders and our future generations to come. These men and women could be someone you know, a close friend, a neighbor, or a family member. I have worked with the elderly throughout my 41 years as an RN and have been a friend to many. The past 7 years, I have provided them with foot and nail care in their home settings and at our local senior center. My work has provided me with the opportunity and the honor to sit and listen to their stories, what matters to them, and what concerns they have. They share how they are coping with their lives on many levels, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and financially. I have heard of their struggles of barely being able to make ends meet for their daily needs, such as safety, caregiving, food, and health care. I hear their daily fears of the uncertainty of having access to health care. They are very traumatized of hearing the possibility of Medicare and Medicaid being cut and or eliminated. I listen. My heart feels heavy as I sit and hold their hands. I offer them a Kleenex to wipe their tears, and I wipe mine. I ask you, Mr. Walden, how do you plan to sustain health care for rural Oregonians? Will you update your to-do list to take back to the nation's capital? Will you find common sense healthcare solutions that will serve our elders and generations to come, as you say? Please listen to us. Remember, they are not only my friends, neighbors, and family. They are yours too. We are all in this together. What would these men and women do and go without Medicare as it is or Medicaid? Perhaps you better bring a Kleenex too.
Hi, my name is Paulette Whitwer. We have a place up near Parkdale. Many people have already asked the questions that I was going to ask, but I have more. One of the things that's outraged and upset me the most is hearing about all the cuts that are planned for all of us, including Planned Parenthood, public broadcasting, National Endowment for the Arts, research on climate change, Medicare, so many cuts, and yet this administration plans to add billions of dollars to the military budget, which is already, in my opinion, very bloated and overused. So I want to know, Representative Walden, what you plan to do about that.